Are you waking up at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. every night to use the bathroom and blaming it on drinking too much water? What if I told you the water is rarely the real problem? Millions of adults, especially over 40, believe nighttime bathroom trips are simply a hydration issue, so they stop drinking water after dinner. Some even reduce fluids all afternoon. But here's the truth. Dehydration often makes the problem worse. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Nighttime urination, medically called Nocturia, is rarely just about bladder volume. It's usually a signal of something deeper: hormonal imbalance, blood sugar instability, poor kidney signaling, disrupted sleep cycles, or even elevated evening cortisol. When your metabolism is out of rhythm, your body mismanages fluids at night. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your body as a smart irrigation system. During the day, it distributes water efficiently. At night, it's supposed to shut off the flow and conserve fluid so you can sleep uninterrupted. The hormone responsible for this shut-off valve is called vasopressin, also known as antidiuretic hormone or ADH. Its job is to tell your kidneys, hold on to water while we sleep. But if your circadian rhythm is disrupted, if insulin levels are elevated, or if stress hormones are high in the evening, that signal weakens, the valve leaks, and you wake up. This matters far more than people realize. Fragmented sleep increases insulin resistance. It raises inflammation. It impairs fat burning. It elevates blood pressure. Over time, poor sleep accelerates aging and metabolic dysfunction. In other words, waking up to urinate isn't just annoying, it's metabolically disruptive. And here's the empowering part. When you address the root causes, hormone timing, blood sugar stability, and kidney signaling, most people can dramatically reduce or eliminate nighttime bathroom trips naturally. In this video, I'm going to show you why water is not the villain, how insulin and blood sugar drive nighttime urination, the critical role of vasopressin and circadian rhythm, and 3 simple science-backed steps that help you sleep through the night without medication. These are practical, sustainable tools. No extreme protocols, no gimmicks, just physiology working in your favor. Your ability to sleep through the night depends on one critical hormone most people have never heard of: vasopressin. Vasopressin, also called antidiuretic hormone or ADH, is released by your brain in the evening. Its job is simple but powerful. It tells your kidneys, conserve water, we're sleeping. Now here's what's really going on inside your body. During the day, your kidneys filter blood and produce urine freely. At night, vasopressin rises and signals the kidneys to reabsorb more water back into circulation instead of sending it to the bladder. Urine becomes more concentrated, volume decreases, you sleep uninterrupted. But if vasopressin doesn't rise properly, or if your kidneys don't respond to it efficiently, urine production continues as if it's daytime. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your kidneys as a sponge system. During the day, the sponge squeezes water out. At night, vasopressin tells the sponge to hold water instead of releasing it. If the signal is weak, the sponge keeps dripping. That dripping is your 2 a.m. bathroom trip. Now here's where it becomes more interesting. Vasopressin release is controlled by your circadian rhythm, your internal clock. It rises in darkness and falls with light. This means exposure to artificial light at night, especially blue light from phones and televisions, directly suppresses the brain signals that coordinate nighttime hormone release. What the research shows is that circadian disruption reduces nighttime ADH secretion, increasing nocturnal urine production. This is why simply not drinking water doesn't solve the problem. The issue is not intake, the issue is signaling. And aging plays a role as well. As we get older, vasopressin secretion can decline slightly and kidney responsiveness can weaken. But this is not inevitable deterioration. It's often lifestyle amplified. So how do we restore proper vasopressin rhythm naturally? Here are practical tools. First, protect darkness. Dim lights 2 hours before bed. Avoid phone screens 60-90 minutes before sleep. If you must use devices, use blue light blocking settings or glasses. Second, maintain consistent sleep timing. Your brain releases hormones on a schedule. Irregular bedtimes confuse that rhythm. Third, avoid heavy fluid loading late at night, but do not restrict water excessively during the day. Proper daytime hydration improves kidney sensitivity to ADH at night. Fourth, support magnesium levels. Magnesium plays a role in nervous system regulation and sleep architecture, which indirectly supports circadian stability. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I share content like this regularly to help you optimize your health using physiology, not guesswork. Now remember this key idea. Nighttime urination is often a hormone timing problem, not a hydration problem. When you restore circadian rhythm, vasopressin improves. When vasopressin improves, urine production decreases naturally. But vasopressin is only part of the story. Now we need to talk about something that surprises most people. One of the most powerful drivers of nighttime urination is not your bladder, it's your blood sugar. Here's what's really going on inside your body. When you eat a high-carbohydrate dinner, especially refined starches, desserts, bread, rice, pasta, or late-night snacks, your blood glucose rises. In response, your pancreas releases insulin to move that glucose into cells. If you are even mildly insulin resistant, and many adults over 40 are, your body needs more insulin to control that glucose. But here's the key. When blood sugar remains elevated into the evening, your kidneys step in. The kidneys filter excess glucose out of your bloodstream. And glucose does not travel alone. Water follows glucose through a process called osmotic diuresis. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine sugar as tiny magnets. When extra sugar enters your urine, it pulls water with it. The more sugar you spill, the more water gets dragged into the bladder. That means elevated nighttime glucose literally increases urine production. This is why people with prediabetes or early insulin resistance often report frequent nighttime urination even before they're diagnosed. And it's not just about high glucose. Insulin itself affects sodium retention and fluid balance. When insulin fluctuates dramatically, it disrupts kidney signaling and alters how your body manages fluids overnight. What the research shows is that poor glycemic control correlates strongly with Nocturia frequency. Even moderate evening glucose elevations can increase nighttime urine output. So when someone says, "I stopped drinking water after 6 p.m., but I still wake up," the real question becomes, what did you eat at 7 p.m.? Now, here's the empowering part. This is one of the easiest causes to fix. Step 1, prioritize protein and healthy fats at dinner. Protein stabilizes blood sugar. Healthy fats slow glucose absorption. This reduces insulin spikes. Step 2, reduce refined carbohydrates in the evening. If you choose carbs, focus on fiber-rich vegetables rather than starch-heavy foods. Non-starchy vegetables have minimal impact on blood glucose compared to grains or sweets. Step 3, consider finishing your last meal at least 3 hours before bed. This allows insulin levels to decline naturally before sleep, reducing kidney-driven fluid excretion overnight. Step 4, take a short 10-minute walk after dinner. Even light movement significantly improves glucose disposal and reduces post-meal spikes. If this insight is helpful, consider subscribing. I share practical metabolism-focused strategies like this to help you solve health issues at the root. Now pause and connect the dots. If insulin is elevated at night, kidneys excrete glucose, water follows, bladder fills, you wake up. This is not a bladder weakness issue, it's a metabolic timing issue. And when you stabilize blood sugar, many people see dramatic improvement within days. But insulin is not the only hormone influencing nighttime urination. Now let's talk about a hormone that quietly sabotages sleep in millions of people. Cortisol. Cortisol is not the enemy. In fact, it's essential. It wakes you up in the morning, regulates blood pressure, and helps mobilize energy. But timing is everything. Cortisol is supposed to be high in the morning and low at night. When stress, late-night stimulation, or metabolic dysfunction, keep cortisol elevated in the evening. It interferes with multiple systems at once, including fluid regulation. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Elevated nighttime cortisol suppresses melatonin. Melatonin doesn't just regulate sleep. It also coordinates circadian signals that influence vasopressin release. When melatonin drops, vasopressin signaling weakens. And when vasopressin weakens, urine production increases. But there's another layer. Cortisol activates the sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight mode. In that state, the body prioritizes alertness over restoration. Blood pressure rises. Kidney filtration patterns change. The bladder becomes more sensitive. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine trying to turn off a building's water system while the fire alarm is still blaring. The system stays active. The body does the same thing under stress. It doesn't fully enter deep restorative mode. Many people assume they wake up because their bladder is full. In reality, they wake up because cortisol rises slightly during a lighter sleep stage. And once awake, they notice bladder pressure that might not have been strong enough to wake them otherwise. This is a critical distinction. Often stress wakes you first, then you decide to use the bathroom. Now consider modern evening habits. Scrolling on your phone in bed, watching stimulating news, late night work emails, heavy conversations before sleep. All of these elevate cortisol and delay parasympathetic activation, the rest and digest system that supports proper hormone timing. What the research shows is that individuals with elevated evening cortisol levels experience more fragmented sleep and increased nighttime awakenings. So how do we lower nighttime cortisol naturally? First, create a wind-down ritual. 30 to 60 minutes before bed, dim lights. Avoid emotionally stimulating content, signal safety to your nervous system. Second, practice slow breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds. Exhale for 6 seconds. Longer exhalations activate the vagus nerve and reduce sympathetic tone. Third, consider magnesium glycinate in the evening. Magnesium supports nervous system relaxation and improves sleep depth. Fourth, avoid intense exercise within 2 hours of bedtime. Exercise is beneficial, but timing matters. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. My goal is to help you understand physiology so you can solve problems at the root instead of masking symptoms. Now connect the pieces: high evening stress, elevated cortisol, reduced melatonin, weaker vasopressin, increased urine production, nighttime waking. It's not about water, it's about timing, signaling, and nervous system balance. Next, we'll address another overlooked factor: electrolyte balance, and how improper sodium and mineral intake can quietly impair your kidney's ability to regulate fluids overnight. Now, let's talk about something almost no one considers when they wake up at night: electrolytes. Most people think hydration is just about water, but water without minerals can actually worsen fluid imbalance. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Your kidneys regulate fluid balance using a delicate interaction between sodium, potassium, and hormones like aldosterone and vasopressin. These minerals determine how much water stays in your bloodstream versus how much gets excreted into urine. When electrolyte balance is off, especially if sodium intake is too low or potassium is insufficient, kidney signaling becomes inefficient. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of sodium as a magnet that holds water inside your blood vessels. Without enough sodium, water slips out more easily and gets filtered into urine. Your body then struggles to maintain stable blood volume overnight. Ironically, people who aggressively restrict salt, especially while drinking large amounts of plain water, sometimes increase nighttime urination. Now, this does not mean you should consume excessive salt. It means balance matters. What the research shows is that sodium plays a key role in maintaining plasma volume and kidney filtration pressure. Extremely low sodium intake can stimulate hormonal changes that disrupt fluid regulation. There's another layer here. If insulin is elevated, which we discussed earlier, it increases sodium retention during the day. But when insulin drops at night, sodium handling shifts. If overall mineral balance is unstable, fluid regulation becomes inconsistent. This is particularly relevant for people following low-carb or ketogenic diets. When carbohydrates are reduced, insulin decreases and sodium excretion increases. Without compensating with adequate electrolytes, nighttime urination may increase temporarily. So what's the practical solution? First, hydrate intelligently during the day. Drink consistently rather than chugging large volumes in the evening. Add a small pinch of high-quality sea salt to 1 or 2 glasses of water earlier in the day if you tolerate sodium well and do not have contraindications like uncontrolled hypertension. Second, prioritize potassium-rich foods. Leafy greens, avocados, zucchini, and other non-starchy vegetables support proper kidney function and intracellular fluid balance. Third, consider magnesium in the evening. Magnesium supports both nervous system relaxation and proper electrolyte distribution across cell membranes. Fourth, avoid over-restricting salt without medical reason. Many people cut sodium dramatically, believing it's universally harmful. In reality, extremely low sodium intake can trigger hormonal adaptations that destabilize fluid control. Now connect this to our earlier framework. If vasopressin is weak and electrolytes are imbalanced, Kidneys cannot effectively concentrate urine overnight. You wake up not because you drank too much water, but because your body failed to retain it properly. This is why root cause thinking matters. Balance sodium, stabilize insulin, protect circadian rhythm, reduce stress. Each of these systems overlaps. Next, we'll discuss sleep architecture itself and how fragmented sleep can create a self-reinforcing cycle of nighttime awakening and bladder sensitivity. Now, we need to address something subtle but extremely important. Sometimes your bladder is not what wakes you up. Your sleep cycle does. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Sleep is not a flat, continuous state. It moves in cycles from light sleep to deep sleep to REM, roughly every 90 minutes. Deep sleep is where the body repairs tissue, balances hormones, and suppresses conscious awareness of minor physical sensations. During deep sleep, bladder signals are dampened. You could have mild bladder filling and never notice. But when sleep becomes fragmented because of stress, blood sugar instability, late meals, or irregular bedtimes, you spend more time in lighter sleep stages. In light sleep, your brain is more reactive. Minor internal sensations feel amplified. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine you're in a soundproof room. Outside noise doesn't bother you. That's deep sleep. Now, imagine the door opens slightly. Even small sounds wake you. That's light sleep. When your sleep architecture is shallow, even normal nighttime urine production feels urgent. This creates what I call the Nocturia loop. Step 1, something disrupts deep sleep. Stress, insulin spike, cortisol fluctuation. Step 2, you enter light sleep earlier than you should. Step 3, you become aware of mild bladder pressure. Step 4, you wake up and walk to the bathroom. Step 5, waking activates cortisol slightly, making it harder to fall back asleep. Step 6, the cycle repeats. Over time, your brain learns the pattern. It begins anticipating waking at certain hours. The behavior becomes conditioned. What the research shows is that individuals with insomnia or fragmented sleep report significantly higher rates of nocturia, even when urine volume is not objectively elevated. In other words, perception and sleep depth matter as much as bladder capacity. So how do we deepen sleep and break the loop? First, stabilize blood sugar, which we discussed. Deep sleep depends on stable glucose levels. Second, maintain consistent bed and wake times. Your circadian rhythm strengthens with repetition. Third, keep the bedroom cool and dark. Cooler temperatures support deeper, slow-wave sleep. Fourth, avoid alcohol as a sleep aid. Alcohol increases urine production and fragments REM sleep. Fifth, strengthen daytime light exposure. Morning sunlight improves nighttime melatonin release, which enhances sleep depth. If this is helping you reframe the problem, consider subscribing. My goal is to give you physiological clarity so you can solve issues at the root instead of guessing. Now pause and integrate what we've covered. Weak vasopressin, unstable insulin, elevated cortisol, electrolyte imbalance, and shallow sleep all converge into one symptom: waking up at night. But notice something important. Water itself was never the villain. Next, we'll bring everything together into 3 simple practical steps you can implement starting tonight to dramatically reduce nighttime bathroom trips. Now let's simplify everything we've discussed into 3 clear, actionable steps you can begin tonight. Not 10 changes, not an overwhelming checklist. 3 targeted adjustments that address hormone timing, metabolic stability, and kidney signaling at the root. Step 1, stabilize evening blood sugar. Finish your last meal at least 3 hours before bed. Prioritize protein, healthy fats, and fiber-rich vegetables. Minimize refined carbohydrates and sugars at dinner. If you want a simple formula, think protein anchor, plant fiber, healthy fat. For example, grilled salmon, sautéed greens, olive oil, or eggs with avocado and non-starchy vegetables. After dinner, take a 10-minute walk. This single habit improves glucose disposal and lowers insulin before bedtime. When insulin stabilizes, glucose doesn't spill into urine. When glucose doesn't spill, water doesn't follow. That alone can dramatically reduce nighttime urine production. Step 2, protect circadian hormone timing. 2 hours before bed, dim your lights. 1 hour before bed, eliminate screens if possible. Your brain interprets light as daytime. Darkness signals melatonin release. Melatonin supports vasopressin rhythm. Vasopressin reduces nighttime urine output. Keep your sleep schedule consistent. Even 30-minute variations can shift hormone timing. Make your bedroom cool and dark. Deep sleep suppresses bladder awareness. If stress runs high in the evening, practice slow breathing. Inhale 4 seconds, exhale 6 seconds. 5 minutes is enough to lower sympathetic activation. If appropriate for you, magnesium glycinate in the evening may support nervous system relaxation. Step 3. Hydrate intelligently, not fearfully. Stop blaming water. Instead of restricting fluids all afternoon, hydrate consistently throughout the day. Avoid large fluid bolulyzes within 90 minutes of bed. If you tend to drink plain water only, consider adding a pinch of high-quality salt to 1 daytime glass unless medically contraindicated. Ensure potassium intake from vegetables and magnesium sufficiency. Balanced electrolytes improve kidney responsiveness to vasopressin. And here's something important. Don't rush to the bathroom immediately if you wake briefly. Pause. Take 3 slow breaths. Assess whether the urge is strong or simply awareness from light sleep. Sometimes allowing your body to settle prevents reinforcing the wake-up loop. If this practical framework is helpful, consider subscribing. I share clear physiology-driven strategies like this to help you optimize health naturally. Now, notice how simple this is. Stabilize insulin, protect hormone timing, balance hydration and electrolytes. 3 pillars. Most people attack the symptom, the bathroom trip. You're now addressing the cause. In our final section, we'll recap the physiology, and I'll challenge you to implement just one of these steps tonight and observe how your body responds. Let's bring this together clearly. If you wake up at night to use the bathroom, the problem is rarely too much water. It's usually disrupted hormone timing, unstable blood sugar, elevated stress hormones, electrolyte imbalance, or fragmented sleep architecture. Here's what's really happening inside your body. When vasopressin is strong and properly timed, your kidneys concentrate urine overnight. When insulin is stable, glucose does not pull water into the bladder. When cortisol is low at night, melatonin rises and supports both deep sleep and proper fluid regulation. When electrolytes are balanced, your kidneys respond efficiently to hormonal signals. And when sleep is deep, minor bladder sensations don't wake you. Notice something powerful. These systems are interconnected. You don't fix nocturia by attacking the bladder. You fix it by restoring rhythm, by stabilizing metabolism, by aligning with physiology. And this matters far beyond nighttime convenience. Fragmented sleep increases insulin resistance. It raises inflammation. It impairs fat burning. It elevates blood pressure. Over time, chronic sleep disruption accelerates metabolic aging. Sleeping through the night is not just about comfort. It's about metabolic resilience and longevity. So here's your simple challenge tonight. Implement just one step. Maybe you finish dinner 3 hours before bed. Maybe you dim the lights earlier. Maybe you take a 10-minute walk after eating. Maybe you stop restricting water all afternoon and hydrate intelligently instead. Pick one. Track how your body responds over the next 7 days. When you approach health through root cause physiology rather than symptom suppression, small changes produce meaningful results. And remember, your body is not broken. It's responding to signals. Change the signals and the system adjusts. If this added value to your health journey, like the video and subscribe to join others who are optimizing their metabolism, energy, and longevity naturally. Sleep deeply. Restore rhythm. Respect physiology.